Despite Pope Francis's two encyclicals, Laudato Si, 2015, and Laudate Deum, 2023, which place a strong emphasis on environmental stewardship, climate change is hardly discussed at Catholic masses in the United States. Transcripts of more than 700,000 services from the Association of Related Churches, Southern Baptist Convention, Presbyterian Church, USA, United Church of Christ, and Roman Catholic churches were examined in one study. Climate change was mentioned in 0.4% of the Catholic videos that were examined. Similar trends were seen in other denominations, with the United Church of Christ and Presbyterian Church, USA, two liberal Protestant denominations, showing higher levels of engagement, especially during Earth Day. Pope Francis's messages may not have reached or resonated with local clergy and congregations in the United States, as evidenced by the observed lack of climate change discussions in parishes. Given the potential impact of religious messaging on public opinion and policy, particularly in a nation where Catholics hold a disproportionate number of political offices, this discrepancy has important ramifications. According to the study, scientists' expectations that Pope Francis's climate change messaging would significantly influence American Catholics' climate discourse and, consequently, the larger American climate discourse have not been met, in part because American Catholic priests have not echoed his message. Given that members of the House of Representatives, U.S. Senators, and Supreme Court justices are disproportionately Catholic in comparison to the general population, it is particularly significant whether or not climate change is discussed in Catholic services. The purpose of the study is to find out how much discussion about climate change there is among Catholics and other Christian denominations in the United States. Transcripts of more than 70,000 online videos produced by Catholic parishes and 4 other American churches, the Southern Baptist Convention, Presbyterian Church, USA, United Church of Christ, and the Association of Related Churches, ARC, are analyzed in this study. In order to determine whether Pope Francis's encyclicals have an impact on parish discourse, the study focuses on the Catholic Church. The results demonstrate that, similar to other Catholic congregations, local priests hardly ever talk about climate change. Climate change is also not given much attention by other denominations, and it is rarely discussed in American church services. This lack of conversation could be because clergy members feel unqualified to discuss scientific claims, are afraid of bringing up politically contentious topics, or prefer to stick to more transcendental topics. The study examines religious texts using techniques like content analysis and grounded theory, but these approaches have historically been small-scale and challenging to use with big datasets. Only churches that have the means to regularly record and post their services online are included in the dataset. The results could be regarded as a fortiori because it seems doubtful that climate change is being widely discussed anywhere else if it isn't even in sizable, urban congregations with ample resources. In addition to comparing services from 3 other denominations, the Southern Baptist Convention, the Presbyterian Church, USA, and the United Church of Christ, the study focuses on the Roman Catholic Church, RCC, in the United States. The largest Protestant denomination in the nation, the SBC is well known for its conservative theological views and support of the Republican Party and political conservatism. While the UCC is recognized for being on the more liberal end of mainline Protestantism and probably holding more progressive views on climate change, the PCUSA is an example of mainline Protestantism in the United States. Non-denominational churches that are growing in popularity in the U.S. and have a lot of activity on the internet are members of the Association of Related Churches, ARC. By looking at official and semi-official online lists of congregations, the study first creates a thorough database of churches connected to the 5 denominations that were chosen. Only churches with listed web pages are taken into consideration from this pool. YouTube links, which can be embedded videos, links to YouTube playlists, user pages, or channel pages, are found on each church's web page by a computer program. Access to every public video that a particular church has ever uploaded is made possible once a channel URL has been acquired. YouTube, which is acknowledged as the most popular social media platform in the U.S. across a wide range of demographics, is the exclusive focus of the study. In contrast to the Pew Research Center study, which concentrated more broadly on trends in service duration and commonly used words, the study attempts to identify climate change communication wherever it may occur in a service. The study looks at how often words like Christmas and abortion appear in YouTube videos of Christian churches. The frequency of these terms has changed as a result of the pandemic. Initially, the term virus increased, but later, it decreased. While the UCC and PCUSA are pro-choice but have differing opinions in their congregations, the RCC and SBC are anticipated to bring up abortion during services. It is anticipated that the ARC will be a more conservative Protestant organization. The study also looks at how often church communications make direct mentions of climate change. The following terms were monitored: climate change, global warming, climate crisis, climate emergency, greenhouse effect, and climatic change. Broader or possibly ambiguous terms that might capture irrelevant conversations were not included in the study. The study focuses on how Catholic parishes and other denominations have addressed or not addressed the particular issue that Pope Francis brought to light in his encyclicals. Pope Francis's Apostolic Exhortation Laudate Deum, which was released on October 4, 2023, is a natural shock to Catholic climate messaging that is top-down. The purpose of the analysis is to provide answers regarding the ways in which Catholic parishes and other denominations have addressed or not addressed the particular problem that Pope Francis brought to light in his encyclicals. The study focuses on how, in spite of Pope Francis's advocacy, there is little discussion of climate change in Catholic services in the United States. With only 2,824 videos, 0.4%, addressing the subject, the analysis reveals that climate change is hardly ever discussed in RCC services. This is in spite of the Pope's stance and the RCC leadership regarding climate change. The study also notes that every year around Earth Day, there is a surge in the discussion of climate change among liberal mainline Protestants, especially the UCC. The RCC, SBC, and ARC exhibit low levels of discussion, while the data reveals notable differences across denominations. More significant mentions are found for the Presbyterian Church, USA, PCUSA, and the United Church of Christ, UCC, with peaks occurring around Earth Day, April 22. However, the subject is rarely discussed in depth and generally gets little attention, even within the UCC and PCUSA. Compared to other religious denominations or the unaffiliated, white evangelical Protestants have been found to be substantially more resistant to accepting scientific evidence of climate change. Parish-level involvement in climate change is conspicuously lacking, even in light of Pope Francis's 2015 encyclical Laudato Si, which emphasized environmental stewardship. The overall frequency of climate crisis discussions in Catholic churches was not significantly impacted by the Apostolic Exhortation Laudate Deum, which specifically addressed the issue.